Listen, this is going to be a very spicy topic and it's not going to be for everybody. I want to talk about religion, and to not offend anybody, I'm going to talk about my experiences, okay? Just FYI, I was raised in a Catholic family and I did attend like church every single Sunday until I was like 13 or 14, okay? I wasn't given a choice to go there basically until there. And I also did like the thing where like once a month, twice a month, I'm not entirely sure anymore how often it was, right? I would have like extra like religion teachings in like the church itself, okay, in like a group with lots of other kids. And that's like, I'm not sure that's just like a Christian thing. I think that's just a Catholic thing where you do these things and then you do like a thing when you're like 6 or 7 or something. I think I'm not sure if it's called communion in English. That's kind of what it's called in German, where from that point onward, you're like allowed to consume Jesus's food, the bread thingies, and like technically the wine as well, but obviously not as a child, but like later on, okay? So that was that. And I want to talk about that, right? Because my parents originally come from Poland, and Poland is a very Catholic country, as far as I can tell, as far as they told me, as far as we know, okay? So there was that, and I had a few other Catholic people in my life, so I have to say, in general, I'm not a hater against religion, okay? I'm not even a hater against like Catholic people or Christian people. I do have to say though that even as a small kid, well, as soon as I learned in school, I really realized I like mythology way more than religion. And you can have like a discussion where why do we call the one thing mythology and the other thing religion? Because mythology is religion, but it's not practiced religion anymore. So I'm not sure what the like official definition between mythology and religion is, right? But I think when you use these two words, there's like a big divider between them, where people generally know that when you talk about mythology, oh yeah, it's like made up stories, right? But all of a sudden, when we're over here at religion, all of a sudden it's real, okay? It's not made up stories anymore. So maybe that's like the distinction. But 100% like the people in old Greece and ancient Greece, the Vikings, the Roman people, okay? They 100% believed in all the things. It was religion for them. It was not mythology. It was their religion. And I can't say like how accurate it is, but there are like depictions in different shows, and it probably was like that, right? Where, for example, 100% again, I'm only speaking about the show The Vikings right now. In like those stories, it is told that the Vikings basically go like to the English land and they mock the gods, right? Why do they only have one god? Why is he so powerful? They have Odin, okay? They have Thor. They're war gods. They are so insane, okay? So, and I can imagine that that really happened, right? Because if you are like so convinced in your gods that you trust them enough to get you through like a whole freaking ocean to like another country to go there. It's your war god, okay? He helps you win wars. He brings you to Valhalla when you die. All of a sudden, you see like over there in these other places, these people only have like one god, and like one of them, a kid of a god, kind of died to absolve their sins, and they water themselves as like babies and stuff like that. It's weird for them, right? And honestly, listen, I had to pray to the God Almighty, the Christian God, the Catholic God, it's the same one, for like so long. And I never questioned it for a while, right? So as soon as I managed to talk, I would basically say, what is it called in English? In German, it's called Vater Unser. It's basically the main preaching thing you do to the God. Where you like, blah, blah, save all the people, blah, blah, blah. And I would do that in front of my bed, on my knees, from like age 5 to like age 9. And then I kind of stopped. And my mom, back in the day, okay, later she kind of stopped, but like back in the day, she was like, yeah, don't forget to pray before you go to sleep. Have you prayed? Have you prayed yet? Wash your teeth and go pray. And I'm like, okay, mom, I shall do it. But like as soon as I learned like religion and mythology in school, and it was like there's all these other kinds of religions, and even as a kid, again, right, with not a who fun people, I'm like, how would it make sense if a higher being like a god exists, right? Why would there only be one? Okay, why would there only be one? You could argue from all the planets in our universe, we're like the only one that you currently know of that has human life. It has intelligent life, okay? But the intelligent part is kind of debatable here. Anyway, so yeah, you could argue with that. But I always liked way more that you would have like a god for every single thing. If you look like to like Hindi gods, to like Indian gods, like how many different like gods they have in the pantheon, how cool they are, how they have like gods for all these like different tasks, and like is it Buddhism in Japan? I don't want to spout nonsense, okay? But like they have like gods for a lot of different things as well, and I always love that, right? And of course, I'm a big fan of anime. And in like anime, you have like inspirations from all of these like gods and mythology. And like nowadays, you have the Marvel movies. So I think we're in the West, we're mostly acquainted with Christianity and the Greek mythology, Greek religion, right? Because that is so much in like fiction. And isn't it crazy how in the Christian thing it says like, yeah, don't say the name of your god in vain, and like don't depict him or whatever, but we literally have hundreds, maybe even thousands of movies where you have like all these other gods depicted from these other religions. Yeah, like, listen, if I was a god, I'm not, but I could be one, okay? If you praise me enough, I could be one. If I was a god, I would freaking want people to make tributes to me. I would want them to display me, to make like their interpretations of how it would look like. If I was like Thor from the Marvel movies, for example, and I come down to Earth and I see other people looking at like the mythological Thor, that would be amazing. And I think they showed it in one of the movies as well. So that one already kind of weird. And then I think there was like one changing point in my life where one family member died. It was the first death in my family I experienced, and I must have been like 12, 13, 14 at the time. I'm not entirely sure. And my one aunt died, okay? She died, it was horrible, it's sad, but it's been many years, okay? And during like the funeral, one of my nieces, who was like 5 at the time, she was there as well. And of course, like as a 5-year-old, it's like even harder to understand death as like a 12 or 13-year-old that I was, okay? So I was kind of trying to comfort her. And she was like so sad, like she was way above her age mentally. She was like, yeah, I'm not gonna see them again, that's so unfair, and all stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that is unfair. And why would that happen, okay? If there was like a god, if there was a benevolent being, why would that happen? And that kind of was like the point where I started to question myself, like, do I even believe? Do I what I believe? Does it make sense for me? And like that slowly turned, and I stopped the praying because honestly I'm lazy and I didn't want to do it every single day before going to sleep. That sounds stupid. I didn't want to do it. Anyway, that is that. So, and nowadays I'm like of the position, if there is a higher being, that person is a freaking asshole, okay? I'm sorry to say it, but that person is a freaking asshole, because if there was someone with power to change what is happening in the world right now, and they are not doing that for whatever reason, they are just watching, okay? Why? That sounds stupid. If you made this planet, if you made these people, right? Help them out? Help your simulation out? We're in the Matrix or whatever? So that was like my main point, where I was like, if there was a higher being, which I believe there is not, and they don't help out, they're an asshole, hence they cannot exist, because if there isn't a benevolent being, they would help out, you know? Does that make sense? I think that makes somehow sense. So yeah, that is how I grew up Catholic. And then like in Germany, I don't know how it is in other countries, you automatically, if you were like in a religion, if your parents were like religious, you automatically pay a few percentages of the money you earn every single month for churches. For churches and religion. Even though I haven't attended like a church in like 15, 16 years, even though I don't believe, it's automatically deducted from my account to there. And then when I started like my current job, it's been 5 years now. I had to manually, listen to me. I had to manually go to a place, talk like with an old Catholic dude, and he would be like, yeah, why do you want to go out of the church? And of course, I told him some bullshit. Like, hey, I also told him I don't believe, okay? And so, yeah, we did that. But only after that do you not pay, like, the taxes for the churches anymore. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That is crazy. And then, like, one thing, which is a separate discussion, which I will not have today, or probably ever. I personally am not a big fan that, like, nowadays, and for a big part of human history, religion and like politics is so interwoven into each other, okay? Because religion, mythology made so much sense back in the day when you needed to explain why thunder existed, if you needed to explain droughts, if you needed to explain all these inexplicably things, okay? It was amazing for that purpose to like not lose your mind as a human being because like science hasn't progressed that far. But like nowadays, where you should like make logical laws for the current people, not for an imagined being up there. Why is there so much religion and politics? Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm just gonna say, I have no problem at all if you are religious. I don't even care what religion you follow, okay? If it makes you happy, you can do that. I have a problem, though, with those kinds of religious people that go to other people and wanna put their religion on them. Right? And that is also people like, oh my God, I can't wear a mask for like the pandemic because I'm religious. Or, oh my God, I will not respect your sexuality or gender or whatever because my 2,000-year-old book said that. It doesn't say that, by the way. You read it. The Bible stories are actually pretty fun, entertaining material if you like read them. If you watch like the Bible TV shows, the cartoons, they're nice stories, okay? They're like nice Christmas stories, and I really enjoyed watching them and reading through the Bible and stuff like that, okay? Just don't take it by word. They are stories, nothing more, okay? Thank you. Also, there are certain religious groups, and I'm not sure which one it is, but there is one religious group in Germany that is like standing on almost every single freaking station for the train and is trying to hand you out pamphlets. And I'm like, if I see you one more time this week, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. And guess what? They are there almost every single day. I have to go to work. Sometimes I will see them when I go to work, and I will see them again when I come home. And yes, they don't really harass people. They just stand there, they hold out their thing. But like, just for a second before I end this video, can you imagine, just for a second, how big the outrage would be if instead of there being a person promoting their religion, handing out a pamphlet, you would put up a big rainbow flag with lots of flyers about the LGBTQI plus community, how cool things we've done in the past, what the rights are, what you can do if you have a family member like that. And you don't approach people. You do the same as them. You just hold out the pamphlets to people passing out by. Can you imagine how big the outrage would be in that case? If you would like go to work and go home and see them like 5 times a week. And now in a perfectly fair world, there wouldn't be any outrage, okay? Because that would be seen as the same and they have the same rights to do that. But listen, I'm a pessimist. I'm a negative person in general, okay? And I can see how people would lose their goddamn minds about that, okay? Anyway, that was kind of my religious story. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.